Hi, welcome to another episode of Landlord TV. This is your host, Rob Wells from the law office of Robert M. Wells. Our office specializes in helping out landlords with their landlord-tenant problems. In this video, we're going to talk about a landlord, for example, entering into a unit to make repairs, necessary repairs, or some type of item that needs to be fixed in a home, and a tenant refuses entry into the home for that purpose. In the last episode, we talked about when and how landlords can enter into a tenant's unit. And in this episode, we're going to talk about common problems that landlords have when trying to enter into a unit for a lawful purpose, such as making necessary repairs. Before we start, though, landlords and property managers, if you're having a problem entering into your unit to make necessary repairs to your rental unit and you've tried to work it out with your tenant and it's not going the way it needs to go, please feel free to reach out to our office here. We have dealt with this problem a numerous amount of times. There are a couple of things that you need to do to protect your interest, and this stuff can get quite tricky. So we're here to help you out. Please see the links down below to schedule a case review, and we'll go from there. So in this video, we're going to talk about, you have a situation, landlords, you have a situation where you're trying to get into your home to make necessary repairs. It might be a habitability issue. You might have gotten cited by a government entity such as your local city's building department, or your county health officer has inspected the unit and has given you a citation for abating habitability issues. Got to make these repairs. You got to do it in a timely manner, but your tenant is not cooperating with you. What do? Well, in the last video, we talked about Civil Code 1954, and we're going to revisit that again. Basically, to enter in a tenant's unit, you only can do it for permissible reasons, such as to effectuate repairs, improvements, services that are needed for the unit, and so forth. If you can't get consent from your tenant, obviously you're going to have to give written notice of when and where the entry is going to happen. If you got to give at least a 24-hour notice if you post the notice on the property in a conspicuous place, or 6 days if you mail it. And your entry has to be during normal business hours. So landlords can't come in at 2:30 in the morning. That's just not going to fly. Business hours, though, normal business hours can be any day of the week. There's been some case law, especially with showing the property to potential buyers and leasees, mortgagees, lenders, that type of deal is in there. I didn't cover that in the last video. That's a different topic for a different day. So generally, if you're between, I say normal business hours, like 9 to 6 o'clock, that type of deal, you're not coming in at like 10 a.m., 10 p.m. at night, you're going to be okay. Assuming you're doing the entry at that point and it's for a legitimate purpose, you're not trying to harass the tenant. What I tell my owners to do is, okay, you go at the time and date you state you're on the notice when you're going to go, and you got a tenant that basically says, I'm not letting you in at all, go pound rocks, I'm going to call the police. I tell my owners and landlords and property managers, okay, don't fight with the tenant. Just walk away, give me a call. What we're going to do is give that tenant a 3-day notice to perform, basically. And depending on whether or not the property is subject to the Tenants Protection Act, the tenant may be entitled to another 3-day notice to quit. But I'll merge them together. So basically, for all those that don't know what a 3-day notice to perform is, it's a notice warning your tenant, hey, you are violating some provision of your lease agreement or the law, which if you don't fix within these 3 days, in this case, letting us in to lawfully fix what needs to be done, we're going to terminate your tenancy for cause. Basically, That's what we're going to do. I've seen so many landlords just give up on habitability issues, fixing them because the tenant just won't let them in, figuring, hey, I don't have to do anything. Well, no, not so fast. The law says you have to fix that stuff. The remedy is giving your tenant a 3-day notice to perform, warning them, listen, we have to fix this stuff. We've tried to work with you. We came in on this date on our lawful 24-hour notice to enter, and you refused this entry. These are things that must be fixed. So you're going to give them 3-day notice to perform, and if they don't let you in or cooperate with you at that point, then you're looking at grounds for terminating the tenancy for cause, and you may end up in court. And you may end up in court for evicting the tenant for cause and actually getting orders to do what needs to be fixed. So that's generally how you handle an entry issue, especially if you got cited for habitability issues. That has to just be fixed. So landlords, property managers, again, if you're going through this problem, don't go through this problem by yourself. Please feel free to give us a call or contact us below for a case review, and we can go over the step-by-step items about what you actually need to get done. Sometimes, too, not to toot our own horn here, it helps to send a little letter to the tenant just saying, hey, listen, we have to fix this. This is, it's required by law. This is for your health and safety, etc. Because if we end up in court on an eviction, for example, it's not going to look too pretty for your tenant when we're trying to be reasonable and we ask them, hey, what are some times we can, alternative times, etc. I got to work with my contractors, so forth. So you need to give me a few dates and times and work with me. In most tenant situations where we get involved, we end up usually resolving without going to court. So that being said, if you're going through this problem again, please feel free to give us a call. Till next time, we'll see you then. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.